Hello lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Nettle and this is my Forever Island Hemlock. In today's video I'll be working on Able Sisters, their small launderette, and a peaceful garden where they can unwind after a long day. I began by creating a path that leads from the stairs near Nook's Cranny all the way to the other side of the road past the tailor's shop. To make it flow naturally, I had to downsize part of this cliff, but I kept the waterfall, and once the green mums and hydrangeas were added, it still functioned as a pretty backdrop for resident services. I might try something similar behind the museum one day. I don't really have a strict plan for the island. Most days I load up my game and decide in the moment what feels right to work on. It's a little chaotic, but I think that's part of the charm. Eventually I'll need to plan the villagers' homes more carefully. I'd love to create small neighborhoods around the island, so it looks a little more lived in and personal. But for now, we're going to take things one step at a time. So Able Sisters is currently in a temporary spot, and this area will slightly shift later on. I will also be swapping this stone path for a brick one, just to keep things consistent around the shopping area. Again, this is another waterfall that I would love to have in a different part of the island. I think now I'm going to work on the extension of the tailor shop. I placed a few things down here, but I do move the counter to the other side to make the layout feel clearer. So we have customers on one side and Sable's tailoring shop on the other side. To me, this is an extension of the shop, an outdoor workspace for warmer days. On rainy days like this one, we're just going to pretend that there are shutters and awnings, and they probably keep everything closed up so it's safe and dry. But this area is inspired by my teenage years. My mum taught me to sew by hand, and then I learned to use our very heavy and old industrial style sewing machine. I remember it was really loud. I had to change the oil once in a while, and I really disliked when I had to do that. It was very messy and smelly. When we finally got rid of it, I was relieved but quite sad. I have fond memories because I used to make my own clothes. I look back and realize most of it was quite ugly, but I believe that's more to do with my style changing as I grow older. I wish I did keep up with making my own clothes. I've been wanting to make a midi skirt for a very long time. The ones I buy from shops are just too long for me. Altering them to fit loses some of the features that made me want to buy the skirt in the first place. So one day I'll get there. Wish me luck. So there is a fancy-ish street light with a custom design, and to me this felt like the right place. I believe Able Sisters is a bit more upmarket, so I imagine their clientele are used to the fancier things in life. Villagers like Pearl, Marshall, Ken and Dottie visiting often for like bespoke pieces, while others stop by for special occasions. Dobby and Ken, I imagine, have vintage pieces that may require special attention. Um, but yeah, above the shop is this launderette. I have washing machines so villagers can stop by, get their laundry done. Bo and Genji just dump their clothes in the machines while Kiki tells them off for using the wrong settings. I like to think most of the others can take care of their clothes. They're more experienced with household chores and taking care of themselves. These days I don't really visit laundrettes unless I'm just washing my duvets and pillows. My regular clothes don't need anything other than hand washing sometimes. But I did used to have a coat that was dry clean only, and I got very lazy with keeping up with that. Please don't judge me too harshly for that. But I realized this rooftop area was just too big, and so I turned the lower section into a garden instead. These dryers took far longer than I'd like to admit, but I'm finally happy with how everything turned out. The loom was a custom design that I'm going to say is wool or something very expensive. The sisters have imported it and are creating their own bespoke designs. The bag next to it contains more wool. I placed a speaker on top. The way it spins reminds me of a sewing machine with the thread bobbing along, so it was the perfect spot for it while also providing some music. These paint cans are supposed to be clothes dyes. There are some very talented people out there who dye their clothes and change their outfits, and it's a very refreshing way to keep clothes up to date without adding more piles to landfills and so on. I have dyed my denim jacket black a while ago. I may need to do that soon. I was also a little disappointed the sewing machine had no slots, but that sewing machine reminds me of the old one that we used to have, the very heavy one. The signpost at the top is actually the campsite sign. I just turned it around. I'd like to imagine it's a notice board, so if anyone has orders, they can leave messages here, or the sisters leave information for customers to collect their orders. And finally, the garden. I kept it simple, calm, and easy to maintain. The sisters work hard enough, so a small garden was necessary, with plenty of space to sit, relax, read books, or enjoy some tea and biscuits. Silvana, she kept me company, and Ken. I just couldn't help but stop and talk to them a couple of times as a way to have a break from designing. I just really can't wait to work on villager neighborhoods. Maybe that's something I can do next time instead of, I don't know. I really have no plans. I decided to use the garden benches on this side of the shopping district to change it up a bit. They look lovely in this green swatch. I will be changing this area slightly to include some trees. So here is the shop extension. I'm quite proud of it. I kept it simple. I did fix the sewing machine. This was placed the wrong way around, and it's also a lot more similar to the sewing machine my mum currently uses. I moved one of the benches to this side, added a tree to break up the area a bit, and of course we have the red phone box and post box. Over here it's kind of hard to see, but there is the fortune cookie stand from the Pocket Camp game. Past this bridge is a canal inspired by Camden, where I would visit family. We'd watch boats and the ducks. There was so much life around the canal in the summer. Over here is a small island. It's similar to something in my local park. The ducks and geese love to swim over to the island in the middle of the lake. like to sleep or just hide in the reeds. The castle walls are probably from an old building that existed, but now they belong to the birds. You can view some of this from the rooftop cinema. I made some minor changes here, like adding those shutters as a way to block off the canal from the cafe. Up in the cinema, I swapped the two plants around. I also finally bought the popcorn item from Nooks. I didn't have it before and was extremely lucky it was available one day, so here it is. The drink has been moved to the footrest. I still wanted to keep that. This, of course, is the Launderettes. I'm really happy with everything. And I hope you enjoyed building with me today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Bye for now. Bye.